Welcome to this Rethé session on literature reviews. I'm Elaine Nsoesie, a native of Cameroon and a professor at the Boston University School of Public Health. I enjoy doing literature reviews because it allows me to learn about what other people have done and to think how my research fits into a broader scope of work. In this session, I'll talk about why we conduct literature reviews and provide tips on how to conduct a literature review. Let's get started. A literature review looks at information that has been published on the topic over a specific period. For example, if you're studying road traffic accidents in Limbe, Cameroon, you might be interested in looking at what studies have been done on road traffic accidents in Limbe over the last 10 years. If you're interested in studying policies that have been effective in reducing road traffic accidents in cities like Limbe, you might expand your research to look at studies focused on policies to reduce road traffic accidents in other major cities in West and Central Africa, since similar policies are likely to be effective in Limbe. In addition to what has been written about the topic, you should also look at specific trends and patterns in research. For example, for road traffic accident, a pattern that has emerged recently might be the use of technology or increase in public transportation options. A literature review will provide evidence to support your research aims and findings. It can highlight major gaps in research. As we previously discussed in the session on the scientific research process, this is a great way to generate research questions. In this session, we're focusing on literature review as part of the research process. However, a literature review can be a standalone study. There are different types of reviews. Examples are narrative reviews, which offer a qualitative overview of a topic. There are also scoping reviews, which look at the current scope of research on the topic and can inform whether a full systematic review is feasible. Systematic reviews use a structured process to analyze evidence from multiple sources, while a meta-analysis involves statistical analysis of gathered evidence from previous studies to develop a precise estimate on the impact of an intervention. There are additional examples in the paper referenced. PRISMA, which stands for Preferred Reporting Item for Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis, is a tool used by researchers to guide the synthesis of information of systematic reviews and meta-analysis. There are also adaptations of this tool for scoping reviews. Let's go back to the literature review for your research paper. The purpose of your review is to accomplish the following objectives. 1. To provide background information on your research question so that readers know why you are asking your specific research questions. 2. To show what others have already done and what your research will be contributing to the topic. 3. To provide enough details about the topic so that the reader does not need to go searching somewhere else to understand why your topic is important. You might have to update your literature review a few times depending on how long it takes to complete your study. For example, in 2023, I submitted a research paper to a journal. The editor thought the paper was interesting, but there were 2 recently published studies with findings that were relevant to my study, but I had unfortunately missed them. These studies affected the framing and design of my study, and I had to update my literature review and subsequently my paper. You should be critical of the papers you read and include in your literature review. If the design of a study is not rigorous and you have doubts about the findings, that's a good enough reason to exclude the study from your list of reference studies. It is also important to be consistent. If you've developed a specific criteria for including or excluding studies, then you should apply to all studies. There are certain things you can do to improve your literature review process. A good first step is to clearly define your question or topic. If you're having struggles with this, that's okay. Do not stress. You can iterate over your research question multiple times as you learn more about the topic. Once you have a clear question, make sure to keep your review focused on your research question. If you're curious, it is very easy to get excited about learning new things. Sometimes for me, a literature review can feel like research to write a book. While I enjoy learning new things, it's easy to get lost in a pile of information. Try to focus on your research topic. If there are additional things beyond your research question that you want to learn, you can always do that later. If you have a library at your institution, use it. Talk to the librarian. Librarians are a wonderful resource and can help you improve your literature search and find process. Lastly, use multiple sources to find relevant literature. A single platform will likely not have all the information you need. As I mentioned before, you might have to do your literature review multiple times depending on how long it takes for you to complete your study. This will involve searching and then searching again. In addition to platforms that provide access to published papers, you should also look at specific journals within your field. Depending on where you are in the world, these journals might not be indexed on platforms that were developed by individuals in America or Europe. Always revisit and revise your search inclusion and exclusion criteria as needed. Use technology to organize the information you find from different platforms, to store publication information on research papers, to summarize research papers, and organize your references. Find tools that will help make the literature review process efficient. We can't end this session without talking about generative AI tools. There are many benefits to using AI for research and some concerns about generative AI use in the research process. These concerns include misinformation and plagiarism. Some journals also require that researchers disclose any use of generative AI in the research process. Because the information from generative AI tools is not always reliable, it is important to check the accuracy of the information. On the other hand, these tools could be useful for summarizing information, grammar and spelling checks, and for developing paper outlines based on journal guidelines. Please do check journal and conference requirements before using generative AI tools in your research. Let's see if you've been paying attention. Please answer the following question. Why do you need to do a literature review for your study? Choose all that apply. A, to provide background on your research questions. B, to show what has been done and why you're contributing. B, to show what has been done and what you're contributing. C, to provide enough information on your topic to keep the reader from looking elsewhere. The correct answers are A, B, and C. Select the correct answer. These are 3 types of review papers. A, narrative, systematic, and stochastic. B, systematic, scoping, and narrative. C, deterministic, scoping, and systematic. The correct answer is B, systematic, scoping, and narrative. For our last question, you can write down your response or say it out loud, even though I cannot hear you. List 1 tool you can use to organize your literature review process. Here are a few examples of tools you can use. A, citation managers. B, online review management software. C, Excel. Thank you for participating in this session. To learn more about Rethé, please visit our website.